My name is Bridget Karnick. I'm the event manager here at the Chamber. Welcome. Thank you all for coming to today's Business Power Lunch. We are super excited to have Mario Lambert. He's the chairman of our board of directors and just an awesome Chamber champion. And we're all looking forward to what he has to say today. So I'm going to hand it off to Mario.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Hello, everybody. How y'all doing today? Get some good food? Yes. Eat it all up before the latecomers get here? That's a prankster in me. I'm supposed to be thinking about positivity right now in production. Just something about me. I'm an optimist by nature. I think sometimes people are maybe pre-wired certain ways, glass half full, half empty. But I also had a bias for a lot of my life, thinking that optimism equaled positivity equal productivity. And it took me a while to figure out that optimism doesn't equal productivity. As a matter of fact, my bias was even such as I was reading the title and I wrote it. It reads to me in my mind and in my heart, transforming negativity to positivity. But that's not what it says. And that's not really what this is about. It's about, positivity is a part of productivity, but the real juice of it is being productive. So I've had to do some work to realize that my optimistic nature was not as much of a differentiator as I thought it was. It is in some ways. But as I've grown in business and have led successful teams and figure out what the secret sauce is to getting it to work, I've come to realize that having people that see the glass half full is good because they can see possibility. But some people are pre-wired to see it half empty because they're going to help you figure out where the pitfalls are and where things can go wrong. And it really took me a while to figure that out. So that's one of the first things I wanted to unpack with you is that while you're going to see that I'm an optimistic person, I'm going to lean into that in some of my own traits, if you will. I want to be very aware of what that means that I need in my life in order to make sure I'm well-rounded and being a part of a team. And I invite you all to think about that too. So with that, here are a couple of quotes that resonated in my heart as I was preparing to chat with you all this morning. Let's have somebody from the audience read this. Anybody?
I could read one.
Yeah, please.
From Brian Tracy, the greatest enemies of success and happiness are negative emotions of all kinds.
Something to think about that, isn't it? Does that resonate with you at all, anyway?
It's a very true statement, actually.
Yeah.
That's what I think when I...
yeah, for sure. So a lot of times, we allow ourselves to get trapped into this cycle of emotions, and not even just driven by ourselves, but the people that we're around. And that's really what we're trying to figure out, right? Like, how do we keep this? You can wake up, you can have your systems in place and have your goals for the day and know exactly what you want to pull off to win. But then you're met with somebody else's angst or grief or worry, or maybe a misalignment of their values. Maybe they feel like they've been left out. It could be a number of things that could feel very negative. And then how does that impact you and the rest of your day then? Because that's not your reality, that's their emotion. And now it's connected to you. And now all of a sudden you've got some extra books in your backpack that you're carrying around. Who's that happen to? It happens to all of us, I think. So this thing around the negative emotions, we got to keep that in mind. Someone else, please, from this side. One more quote.
Turn your face towards the sun and the shadow falls behind you.
All right. I say it almost every day to somebody, somehow, some way. Let your light shine. Or in some cases, I'll say, when I'm hearing people having a challenge to work through something that's difficult, I ask them, where's the light? And what I'm basically asking them is, where's the possibility in what you're working through? Because too often we're looking at the puzzle and we're trying to figure out how to put it together and we're just stuck. But find the light. Where's the example of where the clean picture is? So that you can have some direction on where you're going. And that light shows up to people in different ways, whether it's spiritually or by way of very clear mission and values of an organization and maybe clear goals around what everybody's rallying around together. That light could be different ways in different parts of your life, but I'm a big fan of that. If we keep our face toward the sun, we're less likely to be falling into any form of darkness. All right, a little bit more about me. I'm not a resume guy. I'm more interested in like your why, your purpose, and what's driving you to be successful. If you're interested, I've been in leading teams for over 20 years and helping high performance folks achieve some pretty meaningful outcomes in life. But that's only part of the story. I've suffered through a lot of L's. I've had years where we didn't hit goal. We didn't come close to goal. I've been a part of difficult conversations where, we had to decide like, hey, is this the right fit, for me or for you? All those years coming together helps to shape me and who I am and allows me to be here where I am today. I was typically, again, the optimistic guy that was always coming in the morning, leading with that enthusiasm though. Let's bring the sunshine today, y'all, let's go. But at the same time, I didn't realize the pressure I was putting on people that maybe didn't have that type of wiring, right? They were more just thinking process oriented. How do I get my day started? How do I get organized? Don't talk to me until 9 a.m. And meanwhile, I'm in there bouncing around, you know what I mean? There's value in both. There's value in both. We need it all. But one of the things I firmly believe is that if done right, if we can get this thing called business right, it could be a catalyst for good in the world. And I know at the chamber here, we talk about moving business forward. And when I unpack that as far as what that means in my heart, I start thinking about my childhood and growing up. I had a lot of hugs, don't get me wrong. But I've been through my folks got divorced and some challenging paths, moved around a lot. Didn't have the traditional path, so to speak, okay? But what was my saving grace was community. It was teachers and coaches and mentors that said, this kid's got something. And because of them, I've been able to see different lights that my family didn't even know how to direct me to. Because of them, I was able to get, a letter of recommendation that got me into the University of Illinois, and I still don't know how and why they accepted me. I really don't. When I look at the criteria, what it takes to get in that school, I'm like, oh my gosh. Anyway, but made my 4 years there, got out, graduated. It was because of somebody that hired me, that believed in me, and said, I'm going to put you up under my wing and teach you. And look at this, fast forward, the same gentleman that hired me, I was able to recommend him to be a board member of the chamber today, and that's Mike Barron. So it's a beautiful thing when you can be a part of a community where people are pouring into you to teach you things that you don't get from home. And I believe firmly with all of my heart that if we dare to share our ideas, the best of my ideas, the best of yours, we figure out how to put that puzzle together, we figure out how to both see the same light, I firmly believe that if we can figure that out, we're going to learn something better about ourselves. And then we're going to be able to take that back home and share it with our household, our neighborhood, our school districts, our YMCAs, and so on to make the community better. So if we get this thing business right and we really move it forward the way that we should, we're going to be all right. I really believe that. So that's a big part of my why and my mission. All right, today, so the objectives that I signed up for, I don't know what y'all signed up for, but it's this concept around turning negativity into insight. All right, I know I've been using the word light a bit, but what's insightful about negativity that we can learn from? It's really hard to slow down in the face of adversity sometimes and figure out what can I learn from this? Because something is off. It's a signal telling us that we need to treat a symptom of something bigger in most cases. Next, we're going to look at how to shift energy into engagement. All right, so I look at that like the first light bulb is around like, what am I doing in my mind? Then shifting it to engagement, I'm thinking about how am I connecting with others now? And then lastly, building a culture that thrives is how are we figuring out how to win together to do what I was talking about on that previous slide, to move business forward and be a catalyst for good. So that's what I want to talk about. How about y'all? Does that sound decent? All right, we off to a decent start?
Yeah.
All right, cool, because y'all gonna spend another 56 minutes with me, so I'm hoping y'all good with that. All right, cool. So let's get into, I want to get to know you all though. This might take a little time. Let's do our best to be as concise and considerate as we can with as many people we have in the room. But you're here to also, I want to hear your name. I want to hear your business. and what problem you solve. Don't give me your full 30-second elevator pitch, but give us a good version of it. And then I would love to hear from you, like why did you sign up for this today? Like it may be certain specifically you're dealing with or you're looking for, so that as we go through, so these are just slides and screens. I want to talk to you though, all right? And if it's something that I have some knowledge on, I want to share it. And if I don't, maybe somebody else in the room does, because I don't see myself as an expert. I just got some experience that I think I'd like to share with you. Okay. Anybody said they're an expert on negativity? You get a little concerned? You get a little bit concerned. Right. All right, so let's, y'all want to popcorn? How you want to do it? I want to start with Kyle. And I'm going to start with Kyle. I popcorn to Kyle.
All right.
Y'all ever did popcorn before?
Yeah.
Oh, we popcorn today. All right. You don't know everybody's name, just point and figure it out. But I'm starting with Kyle for a reason though, because Kyle came in fired up today. But it wasn't just because of optimism. I feel that you have an optimistic spirit. But there was a level of certainty around how they've been preparing to win with his organization. I felt the optimism, but also heard some clarity around what you all are doing in a position to win. So please, well, I've already done your pitch for you. But go ahead, tell them what you do.
My name's Kyle Dykema. I'm the general manager at Activate Games over on Route 59. We essentially combine exercise and video games to give people a healthy outlet to go have fun with their friends, to get gamers off the couch, to get athletes a comfortable place to go have some fun and exercise. And we've just rapidly been expanding, trying to get as many people involved as possible. We've already, changed millions of lives and helped people lose hundreds of pounds on the past just like 5-6 years alone. So something I've always really believed in is exercise and energy and passion, as you're saying. So to be able to kind of pull everybody into this environment and give them somewhere to go do all that is a beautiful thing. And it's, as you said, I'm excited to be a part of it. I'm excited to keep growing with it. And we're all ready to take on the future. So I think it's a cool way to step into that. So
Absolutely, thank you. What are you looking for today?
I'm looking for some insight, and I'm looking for some, ways to curate that productivity out of negativity.
All right, cool.
That some people don't have that beaming outlook. So I'm trying to create that for them and help mold them, help mentor them into that spot.
I like it. Popcorn.
All right, I'm Kevin. So we're new as our first month with the World Mission Society Church of God. So I help out with some of our event planning. And it's from volunteer to anti-bullying forums to blood drives, things of that nature.
Excellent.
So there's a lot of negativity in the world that we're going into.
Yes.
But how to make it positive, and also what's important, because I read it as turning negativity into positivity as well too. Yeah. So how to enter productivity, which is most important, I think. So,
Yeah.
So
Get good stuff done.
looking for some insight into that. So we're mostly here for community outreach. We've been here for a while, but no one knows too much about us. So.
It's cool. It's cool. All right. Since you all are together.
Yes.
Yes.
Hi, hello everybody. My name is Martin, and we come here together today from World Mission Society Church of God on Route 59. We're actually just having a good conversation with Kyle regarding us being neighbors and how we can help the youth, which is great because this August 31st, we're going to have an anti-bullying forum, and a few principals, state representatives will participate. And so we were looking for ways to be able to get the high school students and middle school students active in their community. So this is going to be a great opportunity. I'm looking forward to make good connections with everybody, helping out the community whichever way we can.
Excellent. Excellent. All right. Cool. Appreciate you.
Well, popcorn, Hannah.
There you go, Hannah.
My name is Hannah Clinnert. I'm with Community Access Naperville. We are a day program for adults with intellectual and developmental disabilities. Something that we provide opportunities for individuals with disabilities to still engage with the community. So our purpose is every day we're going out and volunteering with different nonprofits, or we're going to different community spaces. So the problem is very much just providing opportunities for individuals who may not honestly leave their home on a given basis to be able to go out into the community. And one of my goals for this is unique to us is everyone on staff is part-time. A lot of people have other jobs. Some people are still going back to school, so everyone is very juggled and not everyone sees each other on a weekly basis. So trying to figure out a way to make everyone still feel connected, belonging to one another. I can't find a time for everyone to join a 1-hour Zoom meeting. Yeah. So just trying to figure out like how people can still feel like what they're doing actually makes a difference, and that they're connected and part of a team.
like that. I lead a fully remote team, so I'm relating to you
Yeah.
in a lot of ways. Yes.
Popcorn, someone from the Y?
I'll start. I'm Mackenzie. I'm from the YMCA, Fry YMCA in Naperville. I'm the aquatics director there. The YMCA as an organization does everything from housing to providing programming for the community, daycare, childcare, aquatic sports, all sorts of various programming and things. So I'm particularly in the aquatics department, so doing things like lifeguarding classes, swim lessons, water safety, things like that. That's all under my umbrella. My goal for coming to this workshop is I currently lead a team of about 55 people, mostly part-time, teenagers, college students. And a lot of them bring a lot of negativity sometimes. And so I would like to learn how to better kind of funnel that negativity into productivity and positivity and just bring people all on the same page.
Okay. All right.
No popcorn or models.
My name is Miles Cochran, also work at the Fry from the YMCA in Naperville. I would say the membership director. I also like to call myself the problem solver because I pretty much deal with parents, sometimes kiddos, and if they have billing issues or maybe introducing them to the Y. Some people come into the Y looking for housing, don't particularly provide our location, but connecting with other organizations as well as getting them to where they need to be. My main goal for this workshop, I would say, is I read it wrong as well. Negativity into positivity, which isn't far off, but I oversee about 25 part-time staff and various ages from retirees to, I wouldn't say high schoolers, but a high school going into college area, and I just want to know or learn some skills on how to turn that negativity into positivity or productivity as well, and to be able to empathize with my current staff or maybe empathize with customers when they're not happy and again, solve problems. I'm all for solving issues and not continuing those issues to linger on. So that's my main goal for the workshop.
Cool. Thank you.
Hi everyone, Donna Jolly. I'm with Halo Heat Sauna Studios. We're a private salt and sauna escape on the backside of Fox Valley Mall, so really close to 59, serving both the Naperville and Aurora communities. We recently expanded our leadership team, and so I think that we are in the stage of storming almost to performing, or almost to norming. Yeah, we're nowhere near performing yet. Sorry about that. And so I think with that, I want to get out of this because there are, as you mentioned, people that are process oriented and comparative to people that have high energy, excitement, positivity. And I recognize the need of both, but how do I help the other team members to say it's okay that this person comes in and they're just kind of like, I need my coffee, and then you can talk to me. Don't bombard them immediately with a bunch of stuff. Like, how do I get everyone to kind of get along so that we can move forward?
That hit home a little bit. Yeah, that's real.
Oh, I'm popcorning. Yellow, yes, I like the yellow.
Well, thank you. I can't blend in when I wear this bright skirt, right? My name is Tammy Reed. I own Half Baked Goodness. We're a gourmet cookie bakery in South Naperville. We bake everything from scratch, giant, huge cookies that just like Grandma used to make. I tell people my expenses in this order are payroll, rent, and butter. We also have keto and gluten-free options if you're living that life. Okay, what problem do I solve? You know, I just heal the cracks in the heart. They help get everybody healthy and I, you know, give them reason to reward themselves, right?
Yes.
Okay, my goal for this workshop. So I lead a team of a lot of teenagers and young adults. And again, nobody's full-time and I've got, you know, moms that come in the morning and make dough and I've, you know, I've got so much positivity. That was a huge thing because when you open a cookie bakery, I tell people, we're about a customer experience. And I've got these kids who are so incredibly positive and great. And if they tell me they don't have social skills in an interview, then I'm like, well, this isn't the place we're going to teach you that because I need you to come in here. But I need us to turn from positivity to productivity.
Yes. Okay, I got you. So everybody's fired up.
Yeah.
We're excited, but how do we
Exactly.
get that in the right stream of action?
Exactly.
Okay, got you.
Oh, I'm going to bounce right here to Trudy because I wear another hat. I also volunteer with Trudy's organization. So.
I'm Trudy Ranson. I'm the Executive Director for the Indian Prairie Educational Foundation. You might know us better as IPEF. We are the nonprofit that supports District 204. So just the 26,000 kids, plus 3,000 staff. And as the only paid employee of the foundation, it keeps me busy on a everyday basis, but in the best possible ways. We provide educational enrichment, health and wellness, social services. We need to talk about your anti-bullying campaign. And the problem that I solve are myriad because there are so many opportunities out there for kids and we want to make sure that they have access to as many of them as possible. But we also provide some health and wellness, mental health, heart health, items, and then very quietly on the side, for the 6,000 low-income and 160 homeless students in District 204, we provide social services. So food, clothing, school supplies, health items, that kind of thing. And so we fill a lot of niches with a very small group of people. It's just me and 15 volunteer board members who do all the work for the foundation. Today I'm here kind of looking at, because I have a very diverse group of volunteers who come in and help. They're coming from all different spaces, all different grade levels. Some people, their kids are already grown. Some people have kids in kindergarten and first grade. And sometimes life is uncertain. And so sometimes we need to make sure that no matter what's happening in our real lives, that when we are in a meeting or we're in a project, like that, whatever's happening in our own lives, that we can use that to be more productive or set that aside to be more productive. And I'm looking for tools to make that happen.
Absolutely. Tools, yes. I brought a couple tools with me.
Excellent.
Cool.
All right. I'm gonna popcorn over to John. John was not expecting that.
John Robbins Awards and thank you for celebrating 30, I can't even repeat this, 38 years of being in business. And we work with corporations who are looking to recognize their employees for positive results in their top sales.
There you go.
5, 10, or 20 years. Or a little pen to give away, have your name on it and your phone number, and everybody will be writing and seeing your company name empty. Awards, I guess one of the things I came here when I heard about positivity versus negativity. Having been in business for 28 years, I just experienced it first. I had one of my suppliers stole 20% of my business by going direct to my customer. So 25%, and that is so significant to my sales. And so overcoming that negativity and just getting reinforced by positivity. One of the things I've learned is just write a list every day and keep going after the list. That helps you stop thinking about the negativity of what just took place.
Sorry that happened, but thank you for being vulnerable to share it with us. Yeah, thank you. Who's next? You got to pick somebody.
Oh,
yeah.
Hey,
there you go.
Going this way. So I'm Scott Tice. I am a business banker for PNC Bank here in Naperville. Also serve on the board with Mario here at the Chamber. And I say the problem that I solve is I help business owners go from where they are to where they want to be, and also from where they are to where they need to be when you think about things like fraud and different things that could happen to them. As for why I'm here, I'm pretty positive like you all the time, but every once in a while, if you can get me negative, I find I start spinning my wheels and I get stuck. And all my productivity goes away, as you would say, for a while until I can deal with it. So that's kind of why this appealed to me today, plus supporting you, obviously. So,
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
I just keep the going, huh? Because I think it's mostly this side that hasn't gone.
I think so.
Sounds good. Hi, everyone. I'm Megan O'Brien. I'm the Director of Development at Little Friends, so I'm responsible for all of our fundraising events. That's the problem I solve, a funding gap when it comes to care for individuals that have intellectual and developmental disabilities. So we start as young as 3 and go all the way through end of life services, which is really unique to a lot of agencies that work in that space. My goal for this workshop today is a professional development opportunity. I think like so many, I feel like I've worked really hard to get to where I'm at, especially at the director level and being on the younger end of what that director level looks like.
Yeah.
And so I'm kind of dabbling a little bit more in that managerial space, which is a common thread through most of our commentary today. And so figuring out what I think even my own personal negativity can be shifted into, because I think I get into this mentality of like, why is this the way it is? Challenging status quos, trying to figure out better efficiencies, being met with resistance, especially as it comes to just a bigger organization's red tape.
Yes.
And so trying to work and navigate through those things because in fundraising, no is never no, it just means not that way.
Yes.
So
Yes.
trying to figure out what that shift is going to be for me today.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I'll just keep going.
Hi, my name is Angela DeCarlo. I'm with Hughes Recruiting and Consulting. We provide staffing for businesses, not just industrial, but we do clerical as well. We also offer HR for like smaller businesses, and we do like their payroll and whatnot. And we do some consulting if they would want, it's some businesses like require that. We're new to the Naperville area. Our business is based out of Montgomery. However, the owner of the company, Vanessa Hughes, acquired Corporate Services, which used to be another staffing company. So they had a brick and mortar in Montgomery. That being said, there's not a lot of foot traffic where that facility is. So we want to be more in this area. I live in Naperville. I raised my kids in this area, so I'm very familiar with this area and the up and coming of it.
Yeah.
My goal from this is just making connections, just kind of figuring out
Sure.
where my need would fall into the area around here.
Absolutely. I grew up as an industrial recruiter. That's how I started out of college. Yes, absolutely.
Jump to me?
Yeah.
My name is Tiana Key. I am a real estate planner, and I'll explain shortly, but a realtor with Red Hawk Realty, a small boutique brokerage right here in Naperville. So clearly, I help people buy and sell their homes. What problem do I solve? It's evolved. I tell the story all the time. I lost my mom in December of 2023 pretty suddenly. I'm an only child, and we had to go through probate. We never had that discussion. She worked in a law firm. Here I am in real estate. So everybody was baffled. I was baffled. Like, how do we never get to this? So my business has evolved to really helping people plan, commit, and move forward in all those things that surround their financial planning, which always encompasses real estate. So I have worked to go further and deeper into people's real estate planning and helping them evolve and think about just outside of getting the keys or selling their home. In addition, someone has called me the elder whisperer. I grew up really close to my grandmother, so I love being around, people with wisdom, I'll say. So I tend to help folks that are 55 plus. So they're working on their retirement, they're planning, and they just don't have a clue. It's been so long, and I deal with folks that have a lot of loss. They're dealing with, loss of certain abilities. They can't, go up and down the stairs. So for me, the goal of the workshop is I take on a lot of emotion. So if it's an elderly person that, is dealing with cancer and selling their home that they've been in 25 plus years, I am hearing all the stories. They like to talk. I love to listen.
Yeah.
And after the transaction is over and everybody's happy, we've gone through everything, I am so weighed that I'm like, I need a vacation, before I can help someone else.
Yes.
So it's really hindering my productivity, I think,
Yes.
just because of the way that I carry it.
Yes.
So I'm just learning how to take some of that, which is negative for them, but I'm
Yes.
just kind of, being bogged down by it.
Yeah, absolutely. Is that everyone? Oh, yes. Yes, thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm an Avon ambassador, so we do fashion and home products. Yeah, so people that need products like, for example, Skin So Soft, like some people use that for like months in summer. So what's your goal? Okay, so the goal is just, I like the fact that it's talking about positivity. And so I'd like to be more productive in my business, so to learn more. It's always good to learn every day.
Yes, yes. Isn't it so interesting how so many people read it as positivity? Yeah. That's interesting. All right, let me show you all something. I didn't prepare this on a slide, but I'm hearing a lot of, from a number of you, you get drained. You have an upbeat, you're excited to do what you do, but then you get drained, and then you're losing productivity from that. Now, what drains you, maybe we'll uncover some of that in some other ways, but let me show you all something. This is exactly how it was written out to me very early in my career, because I was an industrial recruiter, and I was on the phone, I was coming very excited, putting people to work, and I loved it. But then you have a couple people that don't show up and all that. I'm like, So I would go from literally dancing while on the call with my long phone cord from back in the day, playing jungle. I was that guy, and I had the music. It was fun. But then I would go from that to literally making my next call looking like this. And everybody in the office knew that something was wrong. Why is that? Because it was too drastic of a change. Hey, you were just dancing a minute ago, and now, you're like talking lower and so on. So what my leader said to me at the time, he said, Mario, you got to realize that you come in very high. You're spending too much time. This is the high bar, right? You're spending too much time up here. And then when something goes wrong, a tank. But if you can somehow manage your energy level, manage your expectations, manage your mindset, manage your balance and perspective, even if something is super exciting, keep yourself around right here. Don't go over that line. Stay a little cool with it. Because then when you get some bad news, you get something tough, then you might only go to here. That's how he broke it down to me. Now, different examples, so it's tough for me to touch every one of them right now. But for how it applies to you, just consider, how high are you letting yourself get? And how low do you get? If you get really low, like in your examples, maybe similar to me, it might be because in certain days you're just getting a little too excited. And when we get too excited, we're almost exposing ourselves to getting punched. It's almost like being in a fight and fighting like this. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I'm chill. No, you're still in it. You gotta stay braced a little bit. So I don't know if that was helpful to you. I'm trying to generalize with you, but this was extremely helpful for me. So no matter how good the news gets, I'm likely gonna show up to you, or how bad it gets, you're gonna likely get the same Mario, because I'm always not here, but kind of in here. Just above, I'm above that line. So when something goes wrong, you don't really see it. You're not gonna see much of a variance in me. And I've been giving that feedback for years. Like, Mario, I can't tell when something's going wrong with you. It's because I'm always thinking about how I'm managing. Because if I get too high, I'm gonna fall. Is that helpful?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right, sweet. So turning negativity into insight. Let's look at some things that I have documented. Hopefully you all can see that okay. Negativity is often a symptom, not the root. All right? So we've already been talking a bit about what are some of the things that can create cause some form of negativity, whether it's somebody doing you wrong, right? Or getting some bad news, or absorbing people's emotions, right? And one can argue that is that your negativity, or is it even their negativity? It may just be their reality. So some of this is perspective. So let's just stay here for a minute. It's unfortunate reality that comes with aging, and certain things. And there's some things that are just maybe unfortunate if they happen. But your purpose, if you're aligned to your purpose, you're staying in the zone, in the mindset of, and that's why I'm here to help. So it's important for you to stay grounded in your purpose. And that's going to come out in some of the things that we're going to share today, is that I think it's very, very difficult in any environment, in any team, to gather with people and you don't have tremendous clarity on being locked in on the mission and the purpose. Because everything in life to me comes down to, why are we here? Like, why are we here? That's why I literally said it to you all. My resume is irrelevant. What's important is, why am I here? What gives you your qualifications? I guess that's somewhat interesting to you. But aren't you more interested in what I care about? And what my purpose is and what I'm driven to complete today? Isn't that even more important than my qualifications? In some ways it is, right? So rather than going through all of these, I want to ask you all to think for a moment about how what you said maybe resonates with one of these. Let me pick out a couple though. Negativity, well, let's go with toxic behaviors. They spread fast. So how often are you all around rumors and gossip and people that just have these perspectives that are just not in line with what you're trying to do? You're dealing with it with the kids, right? And the kids are coming from what they're excited about and what they maybe are not excited about. But what's the common thread as far as what unites them? I mean, I don't know the answer. I don't have a perfect answer for you, but I think that's what you're trying to figure out is what is their next step that they're striving to get to? And hopefully it's not just a paycheck, because you said they're not volunteering, right?
Correct.
They're employed. And who else talked about kids? Kids that work for you, that's right. They're employed, right? So do you, like, if you could just imagine one of them, what are they doing with their check?
Going straight to Starbucks, or I've got that, and then I've got the other ones making car payments,
Yeah, right? Okay, just think of a couple. What are they doing with their check?
Saving for college, or by paying for something that they want, like a car or, Starbucks, something like that. But a lot of them are looking to make up for the money they spent away at school.
Yes. So my advice, I'm going to try to say high level, and I think it connects to all of us. But I think when we're dealing with people, we have to recenter on what their purpose and what their motivational drive is as far as why they're showing up. If you see a common thread of saving for college and you said saving for college or buying a car or maybe even buying Starbucks, how often are we celebrating when they get a chance to do that? And you probably are to a degree, but if that's their motive, connecting with them and celebrating with them whenever they've earned the right to do that. Kids can be challenging, but I'm also thinking about hiring any form of, folks that are newer or younger or engaging. It can, they all come with, similar challenges. But the key is to try to uncover what is motivating them to the best of our ability. It's not going to be 100%. Not going to be 100%. But just think back, though, for each of you, with people that you manage or that you connect with and so on, do you really know why they want to be there? Like, what are they doing with their money if it's just paycheck driven? If they took that job over another, what was it for? Because I get a chance to be around other people, my peers that are like me. I get a chance to eat good cookies. But whatever that is, being connected with them and understanding their why with that. But here's what I also believe, and this is the part that's not so fun to hear. Some of us are involved in friendships, relationships, co-working connections, and so on, with people that are not aligned to the same purpose, mission, and values as you. They're not. They're in the picture, whether it's an employment thing or relationship thing, for a different motive. And one of the most incredible opportunities to me in life is to truly figure out what everybody's motive is. And I don't mean that from a negative standpoint. I really mean it from the standpoint of, what are you in it for? And if we're not in it for the same reasons, then maybe this isn't the best fit for me or you, right? Now, in some scenarios, I know that some of y'all are thinking like, but it's so hard to get people in, it's so hard to get people, it's so hard to get people. That's where we just have to do our best to make sure, if I would say, if they can't connect to what's most important with you as far as, they're not gonna love your business the way you do and so on. But if they're not inspired with the impact that you're trying to make for everyone else, for other people, if they're not inspired with the growth that they can get because of that opportunity, if they don't respect either one of those buckets, I think it's gonna be very, very hard to get anywhere with them. I don't care who it is. So think about that again. I can't connect to your purpose. And I can't connect to what my responsibility is part of this picture with you and so on. I can't connect to either one. I'm just here to get a check. This is the sad part. It's just not gonna work. And sometimes we have to realize that some of the toxicity is because they're not connected. But that's just one side. The other side is, it could be because they feel that they've been dismissed, they haven't felt heard, they haven't been included in some decisions that they thought were going to impact them. They may not have felt that their ideas mattered because they tried to share something and it felt like they got shut down. It could be that they're having a tough time communicating with just one other person, and then now that's bleeding over into with other people. These are great questions for you to start thinking about, like what's the root cause of their negativity and what they're thinking. And it can be very difficult to get to that point, to find them in that space. But there's nothing more powerful than sitting down with somebody and asking them truly, how are you doing? And they say, oh, I'm doing good. I'm just, no, how are you doing? How is this serving you? How do you feel you're serving other people? These are good questions to write down. How is this opportunity serving you? And how do you feel you're contributing to serving others? And if folks can't connect to contribution, you're gonna have a hard time winning with them. You're gonna have a really hard time with them. There's other common distractions. We've got things like this. Phones with social media, where people come in with habits of just doing this all day. You've got meetings that go too long, that we're sometimes the culprit of. You blocked 30 minutes for a meeting that should have been 10, and it's not as productive. These things also create negativity because we're just filling space. These are some really good things to consider. All right. So now, turning it into insight. Excuse me. All right. Oh, we just hit that one. Okay, shifting energy into engagement. All right. Have you all had scenarios where, and I'd like to hear from somebody now, where you felt like you did a good job of shifting people into engagement because of a way that you managed them or connected with people? Let's get an example. Yeah.
I think for me personally and my staff, it's more like and trying to be empathetic and hear them out,
Yep.
and then redirection, and then having like the tools like, hey, I understand if you're not having the best day, something happened at home, but you still decided to show up today. That was a choice that you made.
Yes.
Now let's make the day positive. Let's make your 3 hours that you're gonna work productive, so
That's
to
right.
speak. And guess what? I have a list of things for you to do today.
Yes.
And hey, I know it's a list. I don't expect you all to get 10 things done on this list, but
Yep.
hey, pick your favorite and let's work on getting these 2 things done.
So even in the example that you just gave, if you look at the bullet points, one of them is recognize small wins. So you gave a list, you go through it, you celebrate the list. That might be the best positive feedback that somebody got that day, maybe even for a string of days. Recognition and giving positive feedback is not a matter of being an optimist. It's a matter of paying attention and seeing people for who they are and what they're doing. So I think that's really good. Let me go through some of these with you. I put on there, eliminate reasons for cynicism. Cynicism to me is when people are just in it for focusing on themselves. Sometimes that's happening because of a behavior that's happening that's affecting them. And so I'm just asking you all to slow down and think about where, again, folks may have been dismissed, the idea may not have been shared or received the right way, or maybe we're not making the time, whether it's 5 minutes a day or 10 minutes a day, to connect with them. On my team, I already know that I can't manage everybody the same way, the people that I manage. This one guy I have, my guy Ryan, he's from New York. I gotta add another 10 minutes to my 30-minute call with him because I know Ryan wants to talk about his weekend and other things for at least 10 minutes. I tried stifling that from him, but it doesn't work. He needs to be able to do it. He wants to connect. That's his comfort zone. And I had to make a decision. Is it worth it for me to streamline him so much to where I'm removing something that's special for him? We have geographical differences, cultural differences, and so on. And I needed to modify my spontaneous my very quick, let's get there style to meet him where he was. I said, Ryan, we can't do an hour. We can do 40 minutes. So we had to compromise on it. All right. So where might we be cutting people off too much? I have another person, and she is the exact opposite. And Jasmine is the type of person that really just wants to get there fast. That's a 15-minute meeting. But with Jasmine, what I have to do, maybe once a month, say, Jasmine, we're gonna add a little bit more time to the call because I need to really get into how you're doing. She doesn't like to do that a lot. If I made her do that every week, like I do with most other people, it wouldn't be productive for her. It would be putting her in an uncomfortable spot. So it's really understanding where people are. Sometimes when we overmanage or undermanage people based on who they are, it can create an unhealthy environment. Did you have a thought?
No, me, no, I just am like, yeah.
Right. So, I wish I can go through more of these things. Reducing unnecessary meetings. Flush list. Very important. Sometimes people are overwhelmed because they're looking at a long list of too many things to do. And that just creates unproductiveness.
What kind of list?
I call it a flush list, John. So, you have a list of things to do, old school style, tablet, 20 different things that feel like they all are important. But are they all equally important? No. Some of them can be delegated to somebody else on the team, especially for those of you all that are in some type of a leadership role. You're having some level of trouble letting go of what you used to do all the time on your own. You are. We all do. So some of it can be delegated to someone else, but some of it also, let me go the other way. Let me start the other way. So you have your list of 20 items or so. The first thing is to get a highlighter and go through and highlight the ones that are most important. And you're gonna find that you probably will highlight half of them. So now you're down to 10 that must get done. Now take another highlighter or a marker of some sort. Now which ones are really the most important, like I really gotta focus on these. And now you're gonna find yourself with 3 or 4. Now the list is still 20, but from there, you're focusing on the 3 or 4 and figuring out who do I need help with? Who do I need to ask for help with on my team, externally and so on, to get that done? And then look at the rest that you've highlighted. What can I delegate to someone else? And then what you're gonna find is that there might be 5 things on the list that may just get flushed out. And that's why I call it the flush list. because you can't do all of them today. But if you're not using that type of a system, some type of a flush system, you might cross out 4 or 5 things in that day. And one part of you wants to feel good because you feel accomplished that you did 4. But what you may not realize is that your bias to do the easy things kicked in and you didn't do the top 3. So then when you come to work the next day or whatever, you're looking at your list, now you're feeling defeated. Because it's like, I didn't hit what was most important. I knew I needed to do that expense report. I knew I needed to get back to this client. And I didn't do it. But it's something about it that's a little difficult and you need to ask for help. But you're not asking for help, or maybe, because you didn't slow down and look at it the right way. Who has a little bit of trouble asking for help? Right? That can create some level of unproductiveness, right? And that item just stays on the list. So I got Gitmo on there. Use Gitmo. Gitmo means good enough to move on. You understand that?
Yeah.
Sometimes we're just getting stuck because we're trying to perfect something, and you spend another 2 hours on it to perfect it, but then you could have knocked off another thing on your list, but it didn't need to be perfected. Or you're just not getting to it at all. You got to figure out when it's good enough to move on. Ask other people in your household or on your team to help tap you on the shoulder and remind you when it's good enough to move on. Don't trust that you can do it by yourself. All right? That's a very, very valuable. Encourage gratitude. Don't go back into this recognizing the little wins, the small wins that people make. People need to hear positive feedback on that, but also gratitude and demonstrating appreciation and encouraging other people to catch somebody doing something well in your environment is really good for eliminating these gaps that can be filled with negativity. All right? Fill them up as much as you can with gratitude. Fill them up as much as you can with demonstrating appreciation and seeing people doing even the smallest things right and telling them, thank you, I appreciate you. All right? It warms the heart, it warms the soul. And it also becomes a stepping stone for a relationship to start connecting even better. I am certainly one that needs to remind myself all the time to do that. Somebody would say, but Mario, I always hear you recognizing people and showing gratitude. It's because I have to force myself to remember. Because my natural state, I just want to get in and get out and keep moving. That's really what I want to do. It's because I just want to keep going. My mind is always racing like on the next thing that I can do. Always. And I have to work so hard to center myself, to say no, move where you are, complete what you're doing. Who can relate to that? Right? So, I am truly my mama's child because I get all of this from her. And my mama drive all of us crazy because she won't stop. We're literally on a vacation somewhere and she's planning the next one while we're there. We're in the hotel trying to get ready to go and like get dressed and all that, and we getting texts. I see tickets for the Bears Commanders game coming in October. I'm like, no, we're still out enjoying where we are, right? And it creates some frustration. I am wired to do that. I have to be very careful not to do that. There's others that might be wired the other way, which is never want to make a decision until you get all the information, right? And that can create some frustration. So we have to realize what our disposition is and how we're wired and figure out, like, how can I compromise a bit of my thought process? How can I get, again, the puzzle? How can I sit in a chair, somebody that thinks a little different than me sit in a chair, and let's figure out how to do this in a way that's healthy, right? All right. Building trust and focusing on results. So trust, this is a model that I got from Patrick Lencioni. I'm going to refer to him one more time. He's a really cool business leader, coach, author, podcaster, Patrick Lencioni. And he came up with this model, and I love it. So much of what we want to do, again, if you're wired the way that I am, and you're an entrepreneur, you're responsible for making a lot of things happen, and you just have so much to do, a lot of times we find ourselves stuck right here, and conflict can be substituted for disagreement. Conflict can be substituted for difference of ideas. Conflict can be substituted for my expectations versus what you're doing. I expected you to do that differently than the way that you did it. That can all be caught up into the world of conflict. In my opinion, a lot of times we're operating here and we're looking for great results. We want to do all this, but we haven't invested enough time with the baseline of building trust. Now, I've had many people tell me that, Mario, I don't give trust too lightly. Y'all have heard that, right? You asking a lot out of me. You asked me to trust some coworkers, like, or some people on the team. Hear me out on this. Trust is situational. I can tell you all right now, each one of you, that I trust that you're interested in this conversation right now. And how do I know that? How do you all think I know that? You came. What else though? Engagement. Not everybody's talking a lot. So how do I know it?
Body language.
Body language. Yeah, eye contact, so on. So I trust that we'll be wrapping up in 10 minutes or so. I trust that you all are locked in. Is that trust? It's situational trust. Now, am I going to ask you to watch my son for me for the weekend while I go out of town? Probably not. I'm sure you're wonderful people, but we haven't gotten there yet, right? We lump trust. I've had so many people tell me they're like, ooh, I don't give out trust no more. Why? Because I've been burned. So you're going to have to earn it from me. Okay? How did you get burned? It was a whole relationship, like an intimate relationship, but people bring the baggage of that into even the situational things that have nothing to do with what happened there. You see where I'm coming from with that? People are scared of this word trust. When we don't realize it's very situational. It's very situational. So how do we build situational trust with people that we might need to ask for help from, that we might need to depend on if they're going to show up for their shift and perform their work? Well, that's through these small micro moments of getting to know them, to get to understand their interests, what their motives are, what they like, what they're going to do with their check, what their gifts are, their skills. You could ask somebody like, hey, what'd you do this weekend? Oh, I was just playing around with my guitar and whatever. They just gave you gold. A guitar. How long have you had this guitar? Oh, I've had it for like 5 years. You taking lessons? No, I'm teaching myself. Really? What if you tell me more about this guitar? You get going, and that person their trust level is going, woo, just because you're showing an interest in them and who they are. So I'm a big believer that when we're able to accomplish that, when we do have a situation where it's, hey, I need to talk to you. I had an expectation that you were going to do something, and it didn't turn out that way. I like to go through some feedback with you on how I see it. Can we chat about that? They're going to be much more likely to receive that because they're going to be like, well, I know you care about me, and I know you see me. So let's have this conversation. Anybody have any examples where they feel like because they have a closer connection and knowing who somebody is, they feel seen, you feel seen by them, it's easier to work through conflict or disagreement and ideas with them? But a lot of times we skip that step and we just go right to expectation. Because it's like, but that's your job. You should just do it. And they should. But that's not always how it works. Performance comes through trust. And then we have the right level of conflict or healthy interaction, we get agreement, then we can get to the commitment stage and then drive accountability for results. All right, and building a culture that thrives. I want to share with you all some tools. We still have some time for that. These are 6 questions from Lencioni. I should have put 1 through 6 on here instead of the bullet points. But the first, I'll give you a quick description of these 6 questions and some background. Lencioni teaches that every organization should operate with extreme clarity around who they are and what they do. And that if everyone in an organization is aligned around a common language, a common level of clarity, it makes it easier to have trust and to understand what the goals are and the mission and what you're trying to accomplish. So the first question is, why do we exist? And I like to look at this not only as from an organization standpoint, but I like to look at it from my human side as well. So with Popular Script, why do we exist? The company that I spend most of my 9 to 5 with. It's because we believe that everyone deserves an opportunity to succeed. Bobby Herrera, the owner, he tells a story about how he was on a bus and somebody looked out for him. I won't give all the good vibes of this story, but they looked out for him and they said, all I'm asking you to do is pay it forward. So the whole concept of the business and building it was to pay it forward. And he's looking for other people that are wired like that want to do some good and pay it forward. So I am in a very good situation of being a part of something with the business owner that believes what I believe. And notice the way that I said that. He would say that Mario believes what he believes. I get to say he believes what I believe. And so I choose to be there. You'll see the difference with that? So why do you exist? Your business. And then for you, however you will break that down for yourself. How will we succeed? That's basically, your service offerings. What do? You're going to create a great sauna experience. You're going to provide clean atmospheres for communities to come together. You're going to put people to work that are going to be reliable and dependable. You're going to be able to provide services that help people with their financial work, like whatever your services are. And then it also goes along with what do we do? And then the next 3 questions, these first 3 don't change. The next 3, they can change. What's most important right now? Who does what? And then how do we behave? I'm going to come to the confrontation model in a minute. There's I came across some information recently called the Socratic filter.
What is a Socratic?
Yes, Socrates, when challenged with what to do with gossip and negativity. Y'all ever heard of gossip? Gossip ever happened in your environments? Can't, right? So what he shared is 3 questions before you receive that gossip, before you navigate the energy that's coming at you. Number 1, is the information truthful? Because if it doesn't pass the test of any one of these 3, it's definitely not worthy of moving forward. So number 1, is it truthful? Number 2, is it for good? Like, are you saying this with good intent? And then number 3, is it useful? Is it something is this information I'm going to be able to use? And if it doesn't pass those 3, it may just be going into the lane of venting. And I got some ideas to share with you through this confrontation model of what to do with that. So people, sometimes negativity comes in the form of energy, like, I'm about to just dump all my stuff on you, right? What do we do with that? And this ABC model is a bit of a model or tool that can help you with that. So person A goes to person B with some gossip about person C, right? Now let's just say you're person B. I'm person A and I'm gossiping with you about person C. And I come to you and I'm like, hey, listen, this person C has just been really getting under my skin. I really don't want to work with them. I don't even know why we hired the person because they can't seem to get anything right. They're tripping over their own feet. Nothing is ever working right. Now, truthful? Is it good? Doesn't sound like it. Is it useful? But sometimes people just need to vent, right? But we have to figure out the balance of allowing them to vent a little bit that is going to lead to them becoming productive again and them just doing some things that are going to be detrimental to culture. And in most cases, when that shift is happening, right? So for the sake of time, I want to just ask you all to be very attentive to that. And how are you responding as a leader when people are coming to you and being able to discern the difference between venting that needs to be redirected to something useful Meaning like, so when are you going to share this feedback back to person C? How are you going to resolve your thoughts and feelings and get yourself from here back to there so that you can have a productive conversation about whatever expectations are not being met? And if you're not able to do it on your own, that's cool. I'm glad you came to me. Maybe we can do this together. Is that helpful? Okay. And then there's one more model that I want to share with you before we wrap up. Some people are concerned about how to give feedback. And there's a wonderful book written by Shari Hartley called How to Say Anything to Anyone. Some people don't give feedback because they're concerned about how the other person is going to receive it, right? Also, some people don't give feedback because they're concerned about how they're going to give it. Because you've been told that you're harsh. You've been told that you're kind of like rough when you're talking to people. You're a little bit abrasive. I don't know, some of y'all may have been told that, right? So these steps here give you kind of a playbook on how to deliver feedback. And I think this is game changing for a lot of people. Number one, we have to stop bombarding people and just walking up to them and saying, look, I gotta give you some feedback. Because just in the posture of walking up, it's like, wait, first you're walking up on me and you're making me do like this. That's negative, right? It's not productive. So the best thing is to be respectful of people's time. Like, hey, do you have a few minutes? I'd like to run something by you. I know it's Thursday afternoon, just wrapped up lunch, gonna be heading out to the next appointment. If this isn't a good time, I'm just looking for like 10 minutes from you when it is a good time so that we can chat. It's something I'd like to run by you that I need your perspective on. Once they give you permission, that means their guard is down, like, hey, what's up? What do you want to talk about? Then the next thing is not boom, boom, boom. And I love how they wrote it on here. The next thing is, well, you're asking for permission to talk to them about something that you're challenged with. The next thing is, I noticed that last week when we were working on this project, we were able to get a lot of good things done together. You were putting your pieces in there. I was putting mine. We were working very collaboratively. But this week, there was a challenge. You didn't show up. You didn't call. You didn't do your end. You see where I'm going with this? The one thing that's not in the book, though, up here is that it doesn't say anything about positive feedback. In my example, I always like to give something positive. I saw you do this before. This has worked for us before. But recently, it didn't happen right. And then state the impact. So as a result, now our client's not getting what we need. Timing is off. We're in a tough spot. When people are giving feedback, though, they tend to talk a long time. It's very important to cut it off. Say what you notice, state the impact, stop talking, and ask them a super critical question. What's your perception? How do you see it? Not, where do you think things went wrong? No. Just tell me how you see it. What's your perspective? And then be quiet. And you'll be very, very surprised how often you'll get, yeah, you're right. I missed that. Because they didn't feel like you came in beating them up. They didn't feel like that you came in accusing and like attacking them. A lot of times you'll get right there in that moment, they'll just admit that like, I see what you see. The clients didn't get what, because now it's not about pointing a finger at them, it's I notice this behavior and it's impacting other people. All right? And then from there you can make a suggestion and then build agreements on next steps. Not enough time to go around the room, but I would like to ask a couple of you all to just name maybe what was a couple of things that you heard that would be helpful for you as we walk out of this room together and aim to do business better. Yes.
The power of listening.
Thank you.
That is number one.
Yes. Being quiet and listening to other perspectives, right? Listening for other people's ideas. We talked about that. Listening to what their motives are and hearing that, hey, I like to play the guitar. Digging into that more, learning more from them. That's good. Thank you. What else?
I like the Socratic method, and then the two questions you posed when I pulled out my book. How is this serving you? How are you contributing to others? And then the last thing that you just went over, I need to tell my husband because he's supposed to give someone feedback.
You want to repeat it?
Oh, the Socratic method, like that reminder was great. And then the 2 questions that you said earlier that made me pull out my little book. How is this serving you? How are you contributing to others? And then the last thing that you went over around giving feedback, I'm going to tell my husband because he has to give feedback to someone.
Okay, yeah, it'll be helpful.
Yes.
It will. All right, one more?
I wrote down a lot, but for me and what I do, understanding where people are
Yes.
is very critical. So I wrote down, what's the root cause of their negativity? Sometimes I'm dealing with whole families.
Yes.
That are coming at me because I'm helping their loved one or the loved one has this issue. So I want to definitely better understand what negative things they might be bringing to the table.
Yes.
That could hurt us throughout the process.
Absolutely. Yeah, there's a whole thing around doing the right level of discovery around what's your total picture and not just focusing on the alarming things that they're sharing, because there may be some other details they can support. So I'm going to close out. I thank you all so much. We're a little bit over, but thank you all for being here. I'll stick around and answer any other questions that I can. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.